from dealing with illegal arms at border points, it is the responsibility of the Presidential Committee on Small Arms, PRESCOM, to mop up the country of those that may have slipped through the borders. Already, PRESCOM reveals that more than 13,000 light weapons had been recovered on the disarmament program by the committee across the country as of July 2017. Also, the committee engages Nigerians periodically for sensitization as well as gathering of data.
PRESCOM understands that for any set of measures to be efficacious and to be effective, they must be founded on empirical evidence. A verifiable and accurate set of data on the problem becomes necessary. Hence, PRESCOM has decided for the first time to conduct a comprehensive national survey on small arms and light weapons across the length and breadth of the country. The objective of the exercise is to ascertain the true situation of the problem in all the states of the Federation by obtaining, through representative sampling process, scientific data and mapping of arms that may be factored into national policy, and ultimately viable action plans to address the problem of illicit weapons and legal deployment. Let me add that PRESCOM is working on the survey with well-known international partners and highly regarded Nigerian experts, based at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, in Jos, and also the Center for Population and Environmental Development, CPED, in Benin.
Effort to mop up the country has not been left to PRESCOM. In Katsina State, the disarmament program has so far resulted in the recovery of over 700 assorted small arms, ammunition, grenades, automatic and semi-automatic weapons, among others. A similar attempt by other state governments tagged amnesty program yielded repentant militants who surrendered weapons. In Benue State, over 366 were recovered. A counter-terrorism expert, Major General Cecil Esekaigbe, spoke to Channels Television and explains the law as it concerns dealing with weapons in Nigeria.
The only legal entity that can import arms to this country is actually the armed forces, and through the appropriate due diligence coordinated by the NSA's Office for End User Certificate. Although the Nigerian police force and some other people that bear arms might want to also import arms, but they must also go through the process of securing end-user certificate from the NSA's office. You cannot import just directly as an individual. As a matter of fact, there is this ECOWAS small arms and light weapon proliferation moratorium, that restricts this proliferation of arms. So it's difficult for an individual to actually import arms. But even if you have to, like the light one, like the double barrel, which is not automated, you have to get a license by the Nigerian police. First and foremost, you must have to identify what you want. That's called need assessment. And then you look at where you are going to source it. For instance, there are so many countries that are not ready to sell arms to Nigeria, but you have to have a relationship, for the manufacturers and the company that are going to sell to you. So if they agree to sell to you and you meet their requirements, then you now approach the NSA's office after getting a suitable supplier, a qualified contractor. But now, the very interesting thing in Nigeria today, we have introduced what they call government-to-government in importation of arms and equipment, which has kind of eliminated those sharp practices that hitherto were a bigger problem.
Although the government, through its agencies like the Customs and the Presidential Committee on Small Arms, have recorded a level of success, the thought of Major General Sekaigbe is that the government can do more to deal with illegal arms in the country.
That is why we should intensify efforts at protecting our borders. Borders include seaports, airports, and of course the vast land borders. And the people that are working there must have the right attitude. You know, attitudinal change is very important. You know, if you are diligent and through due diligence and intelligence gathering, you're able to find out where these things are coming from. Because they don't just fly in without a human involvement. Before you can get this thing shipped in, people are involved. There must be an insider. Normally what they do is to, you know, manifest them as something different. But again, to be able to do this too, you need appropriate equipment, like scanners, you know, to be able to detect metals and all that. Because another way they do these things is to bring them in knock down parts. So if you are not very, very conversant with this kind of scanners, you may just look at them as mere metals, not knowing that they are knocked down parts. These are the, you know, catalysts for security challenges, like the armed robberies that happen, the kidnapping, you know, the various terrorist organizations, insurgencies, and even the militias. You know, so these are their sources of terror and the tension that they create everywhere, every day. So if they had come in, and you know the pernicious effect of such things that lead to mass death, you know, unfortunately, women, children, and civilians are the most target for such of these weapons. So it automatically dislocate, you know, the security calculations, which will also impede the national development. First of all, we have to fortify our borders. 2, you have to have the right equipment and the right people. 3, we have to revise our enabling laws. Let me tell you, the law, illegal possession of firearms, as captured by the Firearms Act of 1984, is just 20,000 naira for illegal possession of firearms, or maybe an option of imprisonment of some years. So you must have to come out with things that are only going to discourage people from doing things. 3, the government must provide for the welfare of the human beings. If you feel threatened and the government is not providing adequate security, you may be tempted to defend yourself, and by sourcing for these weapons. During the later stage of the moratorium of ECOWAS for proliferation of some small arms and light weapons, nations formed committees, and the agreement was that they should form commissions in every country. And so if you call these commissions, you have a basis of relating with other countries, you know, in tackling this menace. For instance, like the Tracing Act of the United Nations and the, you know, Power of Action Act that were enacted. If you are not members of, if you don't have a commission to relate with these bodies, you don't relate with individuals. In Nigeria here, we have uncoordinated efforts of doing this with committees. You have one ambassador in Mohe committee, then one other fellow somewhere, each competing for attention. So uncoordinated institutions is a big problem to fighting this menace. First of all, we have to have what they call interagency cooperation. We have an interagency cooperation where the agencies involved cooperate with themselves and the central coordinating authority that can get them together. Then we'll have a better way out.